Hello everyone, my name is Cody Schmidt. This video was prepared to complete a course requirement. The contents will reflect my knowledge on the topic and does not reflect views of any other person or entity. Today I will be discussing Bitcoin with you and go into detail about its history, how their system is operated and ran, and outline their niche in the world by essentially creating a new market. Bitcoin was introduced in 2008 by a software developer under the assumed alias of Satoshi Nakamoto, who is still unknown to this day. The idea behind Bitcoin was to produce a transferable electronic currency, otherwise known as cryptocurrency, that is not regulated by any forms of regulation or authority and do so in a secure manner. Transactions are verified by network nodes through cryptography and recorded in a public distributed ledger called a blockchain. A blockchain is a graph that is implemented as a chain of blocks with each block containing a hash of the previous block. The blockchain is the only place Bitcoins are able to exist in the form of unspent outputs of transactions, which allows for the anonymity of the users. Now I'm going to start discussing the units of currency. In this case, it's the Bitcoin itself. The codes or ticker symbols used to represent Bitcoin are BTC and XBT. While Bitcoins can be transferred as a whole, which is currently valued at $3,867 US, Bitcoins are also able to be broken down in smaller increments all the way down to a Satoshi, which is named after the supposed creator, which represents 100 millionth of a Bitcoin. This allows for a greater ability to complete microtransactions, which otherwise could never be achieved with traditional physical or electronic currency. So let's get into some of the details. As I have vaguely mentioned the decentralization of Bitcoin in the beginning of my video, there is no single institution that controls the Bitcoin network. Instead, it is maintained by a group of volunteer coders and ran by an open network of dedicated computers spread all over the world. Another interesting quality that Bitcoin possesses that differs from every other currency is that Bitcoin has a limited supply. Central banks all over the world have the ability to essentially issue as much currency as they want and attempt to manipulate a currency's current value compared to others. On the other hand, Bitcoin has a controlled supply that will eventually reach the market. A small number of Bitcoins are released every hour and continues to do so at a diminishing rate until 21 million has been reached. This makes Bitcoin a more valuable asset because if Bitcoin's demand grows and supply remains the same, then the value will increase as a result. A common misconception that many have is that all Bitcoin transactions are completely anonymous. While this is somewhat the case, it is not 100% true. Since there is no central validator, users are not required to identify themselves when sending Bitcoins to one another. When a transaction request is submitted, their protocol checks all their previous transactions to confirm their sender has the required amount of Bitcoin available to purchase and authenticate their authority to send them. Each user is identified by their wallet. Wallets and similar software technically handle all Bitcoins as equivalent, establishing a basic level of fungibility. Fungibility is the ability of a good or asset to be interchanged with other individual goods or assets of the same type. The history of each Bitcoin is registered and publicly available in the blockchain ledger, which allows users to refuse any business with those who have taken place in any controversial transactions. This also helps to track down where the transactions originated. Most exchanges now are required by law to perform identity checks on their customers before they are allowed to buy and sell Bitcoin. Another way that Bitcoin transactions differ from that of a traditional sale is that all sales that use Bitcoins cannot be refunded under any circumstance, and in fact is impossible due to there not being any central adjudicator involved in the process. Bitcoin has a few different but similarly operating clients, otherwise known as forks. Bitcoin Core is the most well-known client. Some alternative clients are Bitcoin XT, Bitcoin Unlimited, and Party Bitcoin. On August 1st, 2017, a hard fork of Bitcoin was created, which was called a Bitcoin Cash. Bitcoin Cash offers a larger block size limit. On October 24th, 2017, another hard fork was created under the name of Bitcoin Gold. Bitcoin Gold changes the proof of work algorithm used in Bitcoin mining, as the developers felt that the mining was becoming too specialized. Bitcoin mining is the use of special software to solve math problems and are issued a certain number of Bitcoins in exchange. The mining can be described as the process of adding transaction records to Bitcoin's public ledger of past transactions or the blockchain. Individual blocks must contain a proof of work to be considered valid. This proof of work is verified by other Bitcoin nodes each time they receive a block. Bitcoin uses a hashcash proof of work function to do so. Bitcoin mining serves two purposes. The first is to introduce more Bitcoins into the system, and miners are paid any transaction fees and subsidies of the newly created coins. The second purpose is to provide security for the system by having any Bitcoin nodes reaching a secure tamper-resistant consensus. Thank you everyone who came to listen to my video, and I hope it was informative for all viewers.